exactly what's going to be banned here as we head into Champion Select for game number 4. Millenium on match point right now on LCS Summer Split Point, we can really call it. If they win this one, then they are safe. And there it is, the Nocturne ban from Ninjas in Pyjamas. We'll see if Millenium switch up their strategy as well. Up till now, it's the same. Lulu banned out by them. A Rise ban as well by NIP, so they're totally changing their strategy.
Just hitting towards the late game power Millenium had in the last game. We could even see the Ziggs being banned away. We could see all the late game champs. It is going to be the Ziggs. So Jax is left open for the first time. I'm not sure if Sora Zero wants to first pick it, or they don't mind giving the Jax over to Kevin, which, newsflash, is also a very strong late game champ.
Wonder if they're going to leave Kha'Zix open and NIP will take that first with the Nocturne ban.
Could do.
We'll see about this one. Final ban coming out. Won't actually be a change here, I think. They're going to stay with LeBlanc. First pick was very quick here. Lucian taken away. This time, for the first time actually, towards Creatum. But that leads to incredible champions for Millenium. Jax and Kha'Zix.
Two of the strongest champions at the moment. Two champions who work scales into the late game as well. I mean, of course, Jax and Rise, both of them are complete monsters in the late game here. So Kevin, he'll be very happy. But of course, Ninjas in Pyjamas, they would have known it would be the Jax. As soon as they didn't ban it, as soon as they first picked the Lucian, there was no chance Millenium wouldn't pick a Jax here. So obviously they must, there was something ready against it, because it was a very expected pick.
Kha'Zix, it's a case of what's the evil of the two champions. He's already done well on Nocturne, so get rid of that, let him play Kha'Zix and see how he does with that one maybe. We are seeing more picks coming out though for NIP. Leona is the choice for the support, and they're going to take Shyvana here for that top lane for Zoro Zero, champion which he's played multiple times. He's a very good Shyvana player.
Very, very strong Shyvana player. Still, issues for him going into late game. Jax will be able to out-sustain him and force him out of the lane. So that can be an issue for NIP. And also, wow, Twisted Fate was actually left open by Millenium, and they might be picking it up this time. If they do take the Twisted Fate here with a Jax on the team as well, that is 1-3-1 split push. That's going to be very hard to deal with for someone like NIP.
Let's see whether Kurt wants to do that now though. Well, apparently he's going to answer that for me by just locking that one in. So Kurt will be playing Twisted Fate, and Graves also coming back into the mix.
So Graves is actually a still fairly new AD carry. A lot of people in NA plays it, and one of the reasons he's very, very strong at the moment is the fact that people in this meta, they will dive towards you, and you're very hard to kill. You're one of the hard AD carries to kill because of your passive gives you extra armor, and at the same time, the closer people are to you, the more damage you do with your Q, of course, with your ultimate to the first target right in your face. And he was buffed as well here in 4.5. More damage with the ultimate, less mana cost on his dash. So he's a very good pickup at the moment. Only downside could be, well, his wave clear is fine, but he's not like a Caitlyn when it comes to wave clear, or Sivir when it comes to wave clear. And if Millenium wants to 1-3-1 split push, they would really want someone to wave clear a lot in the mid lane, while TF then could be in one lane and Jax in the other lane. But of course, if they are together as a team, Graves plus TF is enough wave clear.
So NIP gonna round off their comp here with Kayle, a champion which basically stopped them joining the LCS. So you can't forget those games that Overpower had on Kayle against them in the spring promotion tournament. Also, the Lee Sin being picked up here for Hulberto.
So with Lee Sin, obviously there's a lot of early game power. Late game, you become more of a tank and a person who can try and set something up with your ultimate, but you don't actually bring too much. Compared to Kha'Zix as a jungler, he's an absolute beast when it comes to team fights. In your face, 50% damage reduction from his ultimate, very hard to deal with. Yes, okay, you did pick up the Kayle now. You got the Lucian, you got Shyvana, all three champions doing well in the late game. Of course, Kayle's late game was nerfed a little bit a few patches ago, down to 0.6 ratio on his Q now instead of the 1.0 ratio he had before. So his damage is slightly less, but still very strong late game champ. So NIP going more late game style, but still with some early game here. Of course, Hulberto and Lee Sin can try and apply a lot of pressure. Millenium, their late game again is just looking very, very strong. Laning phase wise, Graves and Morgana is a good lane. If you land the binding, you get some free poke from Graves here, and it's very easy to set up ganks with TF when you have Morgana. Also because he can port in and you can black shield him, so NIP won't be able to just turn around and just instantly kill him like they normally could. So the comp here from Millenium, very, very strong. A lot is going to rely on Kevin on his Jax. If he beats out Zora Zero in this 1v1, being late game or being it in mid game, the entire pressure is on NIP. Like, NIP needs to do something then, because if something happens, if they try and go and gank him, TF joins in. Kha'Zix is there with his stealth coming in as well. So this Jax pick for Kevin can be the one deciding the entire game.
And I think NIP have to get off to a good start here, not just because of the way that these comps work, but for their mental state here as well. If they go into this game and end up giving a couple of kills at the start and a dragon, then they're going to be completely down and out, I feel.
I 100% agree. It's one thing is setting yourself up to the game now. Another thing is saying after the champ select, oh, are we happy with what we got here? Are we unhappy? And then when you get into the game, if you get this bad start, that's the way you just start giving up mentally.
Well, here we go then into game number 4. It's 2-1 to Millenium. NIP need 2 games in a row to be in with a chance. Well, if they win 2 games in a row, they're the team going to the LCS, but they cannot afford mistakes at this point. Level 1, will we see anything? We always talk, the dark binding from Morgana, Twisted Fate with the cards. That's some nice level 1 action.
Such a good level 1. Graves, good damage level 1 as well if he gets close to a target. He actually decided to bring Exhaust here on Creaton, so the heal is on Jerry this time around. He swapped it around here. Could mean we're going to see Creaton actually be one of the split pushers, and then the Exhaust is going to help him in the 1v1s here, especially against the likes of a Kayle, which is very burst focused, like exhausting when the Q comes in and you take a lot of damage away from it. And then there's some time before the Q comes up. 62% of you now voting for Millenium, and there is that swing. We already started to see a little bit of it move through. Okay, 63%. That's changing constantly. People are going for Millenium right now, and it's hard to disagree with that after 2 fine performances. Millenium, after going in the NIP jungle on the top side, have done a big route around the map, and are moving towards the bottom. And again, also look at the comps here from Millenium's side. If they get 2v2, Morgana against Leona, it's a matchup we've seen quite some times. There is room for outplay for Miffy here, where he can engage onto one target, the Black Shield comes onto the target, then he switches over to the other person, locks him down and try and set something up for freeze. But it's hard to pull off, and at the same time, he needs to do it actually, he needs to win the lane then, because going into team fights, the Black Shield from Jerry here is going to stop the engage from NIP. Like, if you Black Shield the key target, the one Miffy want to engage on, he's going to stop it, and then the only thing they got left is either Roberto landing his Sonic Wave or Zora Zero flanking around. Otherwise, Millenium can just disengage and just focus on split pushing.
Well, we see a standard start here, actually, as it comes down to it. Both junglers doing the blue, and the crossover onto their own sides of red buffs as well. Down in the bottom lane, this 2v2 Leona and Lucian versus Graves and Morgana. Jerry actually going to get pushed onto here. Miffy going to do some decent damage into him. Freeze just catching Creaton there as well. In the end, Millenium trying to play the pushback game as well, not allowing NIP to get a control and scare them out of position.
It's very important they hit level 2 at the same time, because if Miffy gets level 2, he can instantly go towards Jerry without the Black Shield, without the binding, and force a summoner away. So that's why Millenium put so much focus, and here's actually level 2. You see Millenium instantly moved back, like they knew there was a chance of NIP getting level 2, rush back, didn't want to risk anything, but now both of them got it. And they can stay in the lane for now. Black Shield was the second thing Jerry actually took, so I want to stop someone engage.
Well, missing as well will make that easier. Did actually get the Black Shield on himself anyway in the meantime from that one. That makes his bottom lane all the more interesting. Good deep ward there from Kevin. Will stop anyone coming up through the river. By anyone, of course, I mean Alberto from Ninjas in Pyjamas. There's a good dash away from Creaton. As the Zenith Blade once again doesn't connect from Miffy.
Just for now, both junglers farming away. It's definitely, again, Kha'Zix, fine. You can farm all you want. Dexter talked about it after the game, how junglers where you can farm a lot, because the early game is often a bit passive for NIP, is very, very strong. He can do it here, connects. Actually decides to sit ready for potential gank here. Curb though, with the wave at his own turret, it's going to be hard, because Newdog is not going to move all the way up here. So just waiting around for connects. Alberto though is farming away, he's going to the Wolf Camp. He's actually going to hit level 4 before connects, so that's slightly hit this time around.
See if we can actually do anything with this one. And that target, if it's the top lane, already warded off, and Zora Zero is, or was recalled in there. Both top laners again are holding the teleport and flash. So expect them to maybe be getting involved around the map, especially once the likes of Kerp actually gets to level 6. I can use that Destiny to become a bit more mobile and have some big impacts, as we are going to see Zenith Blade coming in there. Good Black Shield again from J-Ree. Timing very, very strong so far on that Black Shield.
And you see how Miffy is moving. Uses E onto Kraton. As soon as the Black Shield is there, he doesn't activate his Q at all. He moves towards J-Ree. J-Ree, though, was too far away. Couldn't actually stun lock him, so no damage coming in. Instead, though, both of them just farming away. Very, very even. And we need to see, though, when the level 6 from Kerp comes in. Will he go towards the bot lane, try to set something up? Will he go up top lane, try and get Kevin rolling? We talked about how good Jax is late game, and he will be able to beat out Shyvana in a straight-up 1v1. So it could be the target for Millenium, just get him ahead as much as possible early with all the ganks from TF.
I have to feel that he's got a good target. Stop this Jax from getting to the position where he's just pretty much uncontrollable. He's one of those champions that if he does get rolling, you have such a hard time to actually do anything about it. We've seen them just walking past Zoro to get a ward down. Actually, as it was, Alberto didn't even bother heading that way. He'd already backed away into his own jungle after getting a ward by the Wraith camp, which won't matter too much for now. Kha'Zix is still off in his base.
Still off in the base. Both junglers, though, again, we haven't seen any action. And another engage from Miffy, backing away. Very fast Black Shield from J-Ree.
Pretty much can hover over Creatine this entire time, ready to throw that Black Shield on. That's going to be his job. And hitting a binding here and there certainly won't go amiss for Millenium, especially if they want to get CottonX involved on this action. He's now level 5. Kerp will be hitting level 6 here shortly as well. And that means Destiny coming around. There is, in fact, the level 6 hit by Kerp. Alberto, though, is he going to try and get around the backside? Kha'Zix is on the other side of the jungle there. They spotted him with that ward, so they know exactly where CottonX is.
One thing we didn't talk about yet is the exhaust on Kerp here. We saw a Nuke Dog in the game 1 with Ghost and Flash on TF, but Kerp decides to go with exhaust, so it's gonna make him a lot stronger 1v1. It also means it's a lot harder for Nuke Dog to actually kill him. And that's one of the good things about Twisted Fate here. You can bring exhaust, you can bring Ghost. There's multiple summoners you can bring. You don't need Ignite on Twisted Fate. So you can bring all these good summoners, and that's also why he can stay and potentially even try and 1v1 Nuke Dog in the late game. It's gonna be hard though, and he needs to time the exhaust, and that's obviously, it's not gonna be the main thing for Millenium here. They don't want the Twisted Fate to do the 1v1s, but it's at least gonna help him try and survive.
Pretty much a farm game up until now.
Yep.
Both teams knowing exactly what's on the line. Millenium, I'm sure they can do without the stress of having a 5th game to win this series with. Sewing it up here would be a big, big move from. Look at this Kerp, he's moving. He's not going to be spotted here by a ward. Is he going to commit to this one? Is he going to head down the bottom? They're actually pushed up decently. CottonX is moving in. There he goes. The dot binding lands on towards Miffy. The stun comes in as well. Have they got the damage to finish it off? And there is CottonX now headed in from the side. Exhaust goes in as well.
Oh.
He dives in. Is he going to get the kill? Oh, he does get him there. The first one in the end went to Creatine. Of course, he did end up getting locked up. There's now 3 men in his bottom lane, though, from Millenium. They can pressure. They need to be careful of this mid lane, though, because Nuke Dog's having a go at that.
And Alberto, he should run into the mid lane here, help Nuke Dog push it. They can trade bot lane turret for the top one here. They traded 1 for 1. Miffy was very, very tanky in this engage. He survived all the way down to his own tower, and then they went for the kill. Even though CottonX, well, he wasn't actually even level 6, so he would not even have a single chance of getting out again once he actually went in.
He got the tower in the bottom lane. How's that mid lane tower doing? See, Kha'Zix is actually moving across to that one.
Survived.
It survived. There we go. And actually, not as much damage as I thought may have gone on to that one.
Alberto decided not to actually join in and get some damage. He went for the Wraith camp, and now going towards the red buff afterwards. Yes, he can get the red buff, but he could have gotten a lot more damage on this mid turret.
And do you want to dive a Jax? No. Don't want to dive a Jax.
Prefer not.
Yeah, see about that one. Actually, they decided not to go up for that one. He's going to carry on his merry way. In the end, Millenium getting that turret in the bottom side, getting themselves the first blood. Okay, losing CottonX in the process. Managed to save that middle turret. There is the blue buff going to go over onto Nuke Dog. Takes him a few swipes, but a few swipes will still get him that. And now Kerp's also going to get the blue. So, go back to the lanes with about a 600-700 gold lead here for Millenium.
with Millenium also showing with the first gank from Kerb here, the bot lane is definitely a target for them. The binding landed onto Mifa and then they started everything. Connex was there as well. We should though be seeing later on in the game Kerb put more focus on trying to kill Soul Zero up here in the top lane. Of course, it's going to be hard, just him and Jax. They most likely will need to play the Ruin King first for Kevin before they can go for these kills. But once they actually got it here, they can really apply some pressure onto NIP in the side lane. Still, need to be careful though, they don't give up too much in the mid lane. We saw Nuke Dog almost taking down the tower just by himself when Kerb actually jumped away. He's going towards the top lane, no ultimate for him, so he runs up there. He really want to go for Soul Zero.
Well, if you don't need to ultimate up there, the stun is actually going to land. It's a red card that he actually pulls there, and Zoro Zero is going to Dragon's Descent away from that one. Not the card you were looking for, Kerb.
And Kerb actually, again, he sacrifices a lot of farm in the mid lane. He just runs all the way up there. He's gonna come back here for the wave. Nuke Dog though staying around, should get some good damage onto him. Never mind, that Q did absolutely nothing.
Not quite what we were expecting out of that one.
He's actually maxing his E now here, Nuke Dog, so a lot of focus on the wave clear and the fast push, and not so much on the instant burst damage.
Alberto actually coming in, will go over a ward, but this is very dangerous, the Q landing. Don't think it's going to be followed up though. Kerb already way out of range. That was a good scenario to pick your right card and not pull out a red or a blue. So good job for that one, Kerb. They still need to be careful about this middle turret though. Nuke Dog now with that stinger in there will be able to strip it down pretty quickly.
And it's a bit, no, notice Alberto here, he's staying around because he spotted Connex with the pink ward. Cleared away, of course, very aggressive pink ward by the way. High chance of the enemy spotting it out, killing it. So Alberto staying around this mid lane because Nuke Dog, he wants to get up there so he can hit the tower a few times and he needs backup from Alberto in case something should happen. And it's just, if Kerb ports away one more time, Nuke Dog will take the tower. However though, for Alberto's side, he's playing Lee Sin, very strong early game, and he's actually been doing nothing. Like, he's not been ganking anything, he's just been staying around the mid lane a few times.
Oh, Kevin here gonna get the counter strike off onto Zoro Zero. Zoro Zero's start here is Giant's Belt, double Doran's Blade, and the Vamp Scepter all the way for Kevin. He's got himself that Cutlass in there. And going up towards that Blade of the Ruin King. Plenty of sustain really from both sides. We see them having a bit of a go on each other, but honestly neither should really be in danger of dying without any jungle interference. I say that and you see again just bashing back and forth.
But I like with Zoro Zero how he picked up Giant's Belt as the first defensive item for him, because remember with Jax there's both physical damage and magic damage, so the straight, like the HP early on here, is going to help a lot. Just if he went for, let's say, a Chain Waste as the first item, Kevin was still doing a lot of damage to him.
And we see all of a sudden as Nuke goes back to finish off his Nash's Tooth. Got a bit of farm back in this one still. Relatively far behind, 30 CS that he's fallen behind from that one after Destiny into the bottom lane and then walking, quite frankly, straight to the top lane where they weren't able to get that kill. He's missed out on quite a lot of farm in there, but we'll see how that affects him later on. He only needs one kill and that gold's just evened up anyway. Plus the fact that they do have a gold advantage at this stage already. Certainly working in Millenium's favor.
It is a bit of their Kerb style when he plays things where he can actually roam. Like, he sacrifices his own lane just to try and set something up. It didn't work perfectly for them down the bottom lane where they traded 1-1, but they did get the tower. And obviously, I guess, managed to defend their own tower mid lane, so in that case they won out on it. But it's so low, and Nuke Dog, with his maxing his E, just pushes the wave every single time, forcing Kerb to actually stay and wave clear, otherwise he's gonna lose the tower. And Alberto staying around the mid lane again, been doing absolutely nothing except for stealing a red buff so far.
Well, Blind Monkey's been more of the invisible monk so far, I think, for Millenium. Not really put too much pressure down, but you also have to say that turret now has fallen super low in the mid lane. Nuke Dog is still managing to really push up those waves. His Q, not exactly the burst of damage that you might be used to from Kales that we've seen obviously in the past after those ratios were changed, but he can still knock down towers pretty quickly.
Very quickly, and he can clear the wave very fast. That's why, again, Kerb is just staying in the mid lane because you want to make sure his tower doesn't go down too early. And also, ganking the lanes now is a little bit hard, where both Zoro Zero and then the dual lane in the bottom here for NIP are down towards their own tower, so a lot of pressure from Millenium in the lanes. Hard for NIP, or there's actually no tower, so it could be an option. still a bit risky to go so deep because Nugdog will be able to also move down there and join the fight at some point.
Alberto is waiting. He knows he's not spotted there because of the pink ward that NIP have in that tri-bush. But again, deciding not to go for it. They lost sight of Twisted Fate, and when you've lost sight of him, you never know which side of the map he's going to be on, whether he's actually recalled or what have you, and if he's going to all of a sudden jump in and make that what is your advantage in a fight into an even one.
And that's exactly why Alberto's been playing so passive, because he doesn't want to start a fight and then Curb comes in or Codnex is nearby and they turn it around because Nugdog is still in the mid lane and they end up losing it. So he's just been farming instead, but that's where it's heavily in favor of Millenium, because your jungler scales so well into the late game, where NIP's jungler pretty much just becomes a tank in the late game. Like, he won't be able to kill anyone by himself.
Black Shield from J-Ree, gonna give him credit there, has been absolutely spot on so far. So he used it there once again. And NIP weren't able to come in. Alberto had actually come back down to that tri-bush to see if they could actually get involved with it, but in the end, again, nothing pushed through. So that leaves us here 15.5 minutes in almost. 22.3 to 21.2. So still only 1,000 gold between them. This top lane, Kevin, well, he's Jax. Yeah. And that's what he does best. Look at that turret going down so quickly. Leap strikes off and will lose very little health for all that time that Zoro is trying to take him. Blade
of the Ruined King is like the go-to signal now for Kevin, just to say, I don't even care about Zoro anymore because I got so much sustain. That's actually why Nugdog is forced to move up here, otherwise the tower is going to go down. Kevin staying around for now, actually just jumped in. Nugdog will come in here. Yeah, that's really, really bad news for him. Actually going to try and throw the counter-strike down. There is the Blade of the Ruined King used and his ultimate. His leap strike comes back up with the ward. You don't catch a Jax that easy. And this should open up the Dragon now for Millenium. Dark Binding comes in, has actually landed on towards Mithy. Do they have the damage? That is a good exhaust coming onto Creatine. And the Destiny also popped. They're going to go for Alberto. Is he going to get away? Stun card comes in. It's Kirk to pick up the kill. So a kill here for Millenium. Nugdog rejoined what was remaining of his team at least to try and stop this Dragon. He's staying around here. Everything is ready for Nugdog, but he might just go into the mid lane and take the tower instead, because both Miffy and Freeze went down to the bottom lane here. Millenium actually cancelled the Dragon to defend the lanes. Codnex though, red buff coming in here. Can J-Ree land a binding? Well, he's going to try and push through. They're at pretty max range from this one. They are coming back though, because I mean, see Nugdog actually coming in. They're going to go for J-Ree. Solar Flare goes down. J-Ree going incredibly low. As his ultimate comes out, he flashes away. Can he escape? No. Auto attack comes down from Freeze to get the kill. 2 versus 3 here for NIP, turning it around. Black Shield was on cooldown, went on to J-Ree and just killed him there. Very nice play by the bottom lane, and now Nugdog here to push it. Alberto trying to hold the mid lane from Kirk. Will probably do so as well. This bottom turret though is going down. That's to say Millenium did get the top turret, and that was Kevin who finally pushed that through, even though Zoro was there. Jax not really caring that anyone's around him to try and stop that. Meanwhile, this mid turret, Alberto, as he said before, came in to do that one, but a wave clear of Twisted Fate, just far too strong. They don't really go past that turret, and Kerp is going to take it down. That's all 3 outer turrets now taken out by Millenium to the single one that NIP have managed to get. There's a good response here. Gave up a kill, yes, gave up the bottom lane turret, but then Kerp will just stay in. He's so much stronger than Alberto, who is very weak at the moment. Didn't even care about him being there, just took down the tower. And of course, up in the top lane, Zoro still the tower left he needs to get, but Kevin, he's just so strong. Look at him in these fights. That was a really nice move as well. Used the Blade of the Ruined King to get the speed in there so that the counter-strike could get the stun onto Zoro. Not quite enough damage in the end, though, to actually kill him, but nonetheless will force him out of that top lane, and he's going to give Kevin a little bit more free farm. He's actually slightly behind that of Zoro, probably mostly because Zoro has just gone through and taken quite a few of those golem counts as well on his way out. So NIP at the moment needs to send at least one more member up to try and kill Kevin, because again, Zoro can try and clear the wave and just back off from there. He won't be able to kill Kevin. That's where they need Nugdog to move up. Alberto, I'm not even sure if they can 2v1 Kevin. Actually, once there's a 24 on Kevin, it's going to be even harder at least, which is the one he's going towards now. But we need to see if NIP want to send multiple members to try and kill him. And then we of course need to remember, Twisted Fate can always join in. Kha'Zix, if he's nearby with his ultimate, very mobile with his jumps, can get in as well and help out Kevin. And this makes it so scary for NIP when the split pushing really starts.
See Nukebook already chopping down those waves. Got a Sheen in there. Head up towards that Lich Bane. Almost getting, he wanted that pink ward, I think, was chased actually out of things. Is Kerp gonna get blasted? But not quite got the burst, not got the damage here for this one. However, we are gonna see a move towards